Of course, not all miners work down the pit. There are a lot of occupations, a lot of men worked on the pit top. One group of men I haven't mentioned are the craftspersons, the electricians, the fitters. They work down the pit on the machinery. But a lot of them also worked on the pit top, in workshops at the pit, but also in dedicated workshops like the one at Elsica workshops, where a lot of men work repairing machinery. There was transport on the pit top, and they had to be unloaded. There were blacksmiths on the pit top. All sorts of people involved in occupations, in jobs that assisted the men at the coalface to get the coal out. Of course, some women worked at the pit too, but generally speaking, it was the manager's secretary that worked in the pit canteen. There were cleaners. No women worked in directly mining related jobs.
The manager first, other man, deputy, and then shop firer, they come like,
And what did you think of those people? I mean, did you get on with them well? Or?
Yeah, majority, yeah, to do, because the same team, when you went on a district, you'd have same other man, same deputy, same shop firer, so you were like a team.
Go down, then meet up, see what your working duties were down at bottom, round at what we call boxhole, and that's where it's underground office, if you could call it that, but it's a cave. And that's what it was, and that's where the officials, your deputies, your overmen used to meet, and then you get a rundown on what's waiting for you when you get to coalface.
I mean, obviously every dispute, somebody maybe asked for it, one or two, what I think I'm in my raise, but by law you're not in the raise.
Yeah.
Only time you saw the manager, if there'd been some union disputes, dispute, fighting for your raise, and manager had to face you sometimes then, but that's the only time you saw him. And sometimes he might come every 3 or 4 months with safety inspectors. It had been an accident, and safety inspectors comes up face and all that, there's been an accident in the district, that manager comes round with him and see what happened.
The tannoy system was it ran through the coalface, it ran through the old mine. It were a little bit easy in them days, weren't it, to sort of ring the control room, which was on the surface, and say, just ring my wife and tell her I'm going to stop overtime. There were the opportunities later on. And the guy in the control room used to get sick to the back teeth, because if he didn't have a watch, every 5 minutes would be going, what time is it? He used to tell us the time, we'd say how the shift was going through.
How was the alarm raised throughout the mine when there was an emergency?
Communications underground was absolutely second to none. You could communicate, there was several ways to communicate. If you were on haulage, you could we used to have signals as well, that you could wrap different, what was called rapping. Not rapping. But, tap a signal if you like. A little bit like Morse code, but nothing like
Yeah,
it.
because you used to have a system go through, you used to have 2 wires that used to run up in top of row, and you'd have your key, which were metal, and what you'd do is short circuit them, you'd put it on one or other, and it'd be just like Morse code, giving it one of them 2 wraps, 3 wrap board, and it'd go straight through pit.
So you could be
And that's how
talking.
you used to talk to each other.
You could be talking to a guy that were a mile up what we used to call a gate, which is like a road. He was driving the engine, and you could tell him if you wanted to come forward, backwards, slow, extra slow. You could communicate with him, you see.
Did you make any good friends when you're working down in the mines?
Most pits, certainly Wath Main where I worked, which is basically where the lake is now, you can see it. Wath Main was known as a family pit. So when we're talking about friends and, you know, holding up each other, when I first went for a job, it wasn't an interview. I went to see the training officer, Alf Tales at the time, and he just said, well, what do you want, lad? And I said, I like a job. And all he said to me, who works here that you know? So I reeled them all off, my dad's, my uncles, my cousins, and he said, start next Monday. Like, it were a family pit, you see. We often said that if all our family, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this, and you know, your dad and your brothers, if all our family had been on the same shift, had there been a disaster, families would have been wiped out.
I mean, he used to all meet in pub or miners' welfare. You met some enemies as well. It went all rosy, but yes, most of the people that you worked on, as friends, and there were your associates as well, is that you could, I mean, I worked at Cortonwood Wood for most of my time, but I also worked in Parkgate, but I could go to Barnsley and any village round here, up to Doncaster, and I'd know someone, because we all worked in mines, and you'd say hello, so I don't know if you mean, is that your friends? But yeah, you met a lot of friends. You needed friends.